Okay, so we're diving deep today into procrastination. You guys sent in a ton of stuff on this, which is fascinating. But really, what we want to get at is why we do it and how to actually stop or at least manage it, like way beyond just use a to-do list, you know?
Right, right. And just starting with the definition is interesting. It's not just delaying stuff, it's a choice.
Hmm.
You're actively putting off something you know is important, knowing it's going to probably backfire later. That's
Yeah.
what's so weird, that
Yeah.
intentional delay, even when you know it'll probably be bad.
Yeah. And it's like, we even see it in the words for it, right? Procrastinare, that Latin root, means putting off till tomorrow. Okay, straightforward. But then there's akrasia from Greek, meaning going against your own good judgment. That really gets at the struggle. Like, why do we sabotage ourselves?
Exactly. It's not just being lazy either. That's different. The end result, the task not done might look the same. But inside procrastination, there's this wish to do the thing, but you're blocked. Laziness is more like, meh, don't want to do it at all.
And the emotional side of this is huge. Guilt, anxiety, beating yourself up. The research shows it's often about regulating emotions, like avoiding those bad feelings the task brings up. Putting it off is almost like a quick emotional painkiller, even if it causes more pain later.
And it's crazy how common this is. Like 1 in 5 adults, maybe even 1 in 4, are chronic procrastinators. But almost everybody, 95%, says they do it sometimes, even just going to bed on time. And college students, wow, way higher rates there.
It's almost like a human thing then. They talk about all these factors,
Yeah.
tech distractions, maybe some gender differences, even your genes playing a role with impulsiveness and such. But get this, it might actually lessen as we get older.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Fear of failure. That's a big one. Not feeling confident, worrying about not being good enough, often tied up with perfectionism. That fear of criticism or judgment can be so strong, we just avoid the whole thing. Especially if the task is super complex, it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy,
Yeah.
You fear failing, so you avoid, and then you fail because you avoid it.
Totally. And then perfectionism, oh boy, that's a whole other level. Those impossibly high standards can make you freeze up before even starting. Or you get so lost in the details you never finish. But what the research points out, it's not just having high standards, it's the fear of not meeting them, especially when you think others are judging you. That really drives the procrastination.
And then there's plain old lack of motivation. We'd rather do something fun now than that tough, boring thing later. Present bias, they call it.
Yeah.
We trick ourselves into thinking we'll totally be in the mood for it tomorrow. Like, ever tell yourself that? I'll be more up for it later.
All the time. But here's the thing. All this delaying, it comes with a cost. More stress and anxiety as the deadline gets closer. They found links to depression, low self-esteem. It's like we try to avoid feeling bad now, but end up feeling way worse later. Even physical health takes a hit.
And it affects so much. Productivity obviously tanks. Last-minute rush means shoddy work, mistakes. Over time, this can hit your grades, job prospects, even finances. It's not just a personal thing either. Putting off shared stuff like chores or tough talks can really strain relationships, build resentment. They call it a slow burn that can damage trust over time.
Right. So what can we actually do about it? The research suggests a bunch of approaches. Practically breaking big tasks down, using things like the Pomodoro method or that 2-minute rule can make it feel less overwhelming.
And figuring out what to tackle first. There's the Eisenhower box, or that eat the frog idea, doing the hardest thing first, get it out of the way.
But getting at the psychology behind it, that's crucial. Learning to reframe those negative thoughts about failure, being kinder to ourselves, setting realistic goals, finding what truly motivates us.
They even talk about tech being useful here. Focus apps, website blockers, task managers, all that stuff. And if you want more structure, there are tons of online courses, workshops on productivity, procrastination, plus books and research papers galore if you want to go deep.
So what we're seeing here is that procrastination, it's not just bad time management. It's this whole psychological thing driven by fear, wanting comfort now, and it affects us way more than we realize.
But the good news is it's not a hopeless situation. Understanding why we do it, using these practical tools, and addressing the mental stuff, it can be managed.
Absolutely. So here's something to ponder. Of all those things we talked about, the fear of failing, perfectionism, wanting instant gratification, which feels most like your procrastination style, and knowing what we've covered, what's one tiny step you could take today on something you'd usually put off. Not about being perfect, just about starting to shift towards actually doing the thing.
Exactly, little by little.
Little by little, you got it.